And this time, in tribute to the late and very great Chick Corea, I wanted to do a couple of videos looking at the solos from his classic track Electric City, taken from the self-titled first Chick Corea Electric Band album. So I'll look at the guitar solo in the next video. This time I'm going to look at Chick Corea's fantastic keyboard solo. So let me play it, and then we'll pull it apart. Before we get into the analysis, just a quick reminder, if you'd like to see a transcription of this or any of my other lines, you'll find them all on my Buy Me a Coffee page, to which you'll find a link in the description down below. So as I said, we're looking at Chick Corea's fantastic keyboard solo. And one of the things that attracts me to this solo, I mean, it's quite a concise 8-bar sequence that he's playing over. And it's some lovely ideas in there. But also it's sort of guitaristic, I was thinking. It's kind of, there's lots of pentatonic things. There's things which you could sort of think of as string bends almost, where he's using the pitch wheel on his keyboard to create that sort of effect. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to look at. So the sequence this takes place over, it's a C minor sequence. It's basically moving between C minor and B flat minor. You've got this sort of sequence going from C to D minor over C. Then the same thing down a whole step, B flat minor 7 to C minor over B flat. And a bar on each of those. And it's important to remember with this, as this was originally played on a keyboard, there's no correct way to play this on the guitar. So the fingerings I'm offering here, as I've mentioned in previous videos, they're only a suggestion, but feel free to adapt them to things you feel more comfortable with. But I thought it'd be interesting, and often with keyboard solos, because they've got such a big span which they can play over, you know, often it's hard to fit them on the guitar, so you have to take them down an octave or change key sometimes to fit it all on the instrument. This one, it's quite high, but I thought it'd be interesting to keep it in the original register that he played this in, rather than moving it down an octave, because it loses some of its dynamism. So we're all up here at the dusty end for this solo. And he starts out with this idea. And this is all C minor pentatonic with the 9th added. It's kind of a pentatonic thing which we've touched on quite a few times in other lines, memorably in the Alan Holdsworth in the Mystery solo. So again, it's based around C minor pentatonic. I was just playing shape 5 there, because that's where it starts off. You've got this high B flat, then to the G, then to the F, then to the G, then back to the B flat, then bending up from the C to the D. As I say, this is done with a pitch wheel on the keyboard, but it's quite guitaristic. So all of that is pentatonic. But then up to the D is the 9th. Then it comes back down the pentatonic, down to the E flat. So all of the rest of that straight down C minor pentatonic. You could also see this as being G minor pentatonic. Apart from the final note, the final E flat. Both apply because the notes come from both scales. So that's all over the C minor. Then the harmony shifts to the B flat minor. So over the B flat minor we get so for this, the notes we've got D flat, E flat, F bending up to G, then going down to the E flat. So this is somewhere between B flat minor and C minor kind of ideas. You could see that as being, I guess, B flat minor Dorian. Or you could see it as like the D flat being the minor third of the B flat, and the rest of it all C minor. And certainly goes back to C minor for the final beat, where we get the C to the G to the F. and then the G to the C. And to me, it sort of sounds like the initial phrase is all B flat, then going back to C minor to anticipate the move back to C minor. And incidentally, let's just try all of that down an octave, just to see how else it could work on the guitar. So certainly, you know, all kind of fits around this kind of shape 2, shape 1 of C minor pentatonic. As I say, with a bit of B flat minor thrown in there. So following this, again, we're back in C minor. We get this really nice idea. And it starts on the final beat, 4th beat of the 3rd bar, and starts on the 2nd 16th. And we get this. So it's a nice phrase, really nice phrase. It's all C minor pentatonic, but some great interval skips in there. So we start off down on this B flat. And this little 4ths idea, B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat. Then skips up a 7th, flat 7th, to the B flat. Then down to the E flat, down a 5th. There's a really nice little intervallic idea there. Then all straight up the C minor pentatonic scale. Then we go up as far as the E flat, and then it skips up a 5th to the B flat, and then bends up from the F to the G. And that's a short note, so it's staccato. In fact, they both are. Very bluesy sort of phrase. Again, all C minor pentatonic. I'm around shape 4. It starts off in shape 3, I guess you'd say, finishes off in shape 4. Just finishes off between this C and B flat, and back to the C. It's a really nice phrase. Again, let's try this down here, because this would be in shape 5 and shape 1 of C minor pentatonic. It's worth pointing out, actually, although it's over the B flat minor section, he still stays in the C minor pentatonic over the top of it. So again, this gives us a really nice pentatonic idea, if we play it down here as well. Eminently stealable. All sorts of things you can do with. I mean, obviously you could play the same thing down an octave down here. It's very sort of bluesy, but just with really nice kind of intervallic movement at the start of it. It's really nice. It's sort of guitaristic and yet slightly not guitaristic, at least the way it starts out. It's still got that slightly alien element to it, which for me makes it really interesting to do on the guitar. So following this really nice phrase, we get this kind of longer phrase which flows through to the end of the solo. So we get this. I'll just stop it there. So that flows over both chords, the C minor section and the B flat minor section. So it starts off with this bend up to the D, so that'd be the 9th over C minor. It comes straight down to C minor 7 arpeggio, so you could see this as being C minor pentatonic or, you know, C minor 7 arpeggio. And this little phrase, it starts on beat 2, starts on the 3rd 16th. So halfway through beat 2 of the bar. So you get this. 1 and 2. And you get that very sort of clear delineation, although it's a bend between the two notes. You get the C and the D. 1 and 2. Then he sort of echoes that idea down a whole step. So bending up from B flat to C. Then down to the F. Down to C, then back up to the D flat. Little pedaling figure around this C, going from the F to the C, then the E flat to the C. So it's kind of starting out as B flat minor with the ninth added, I guess you'd say. And you can also see this as being an F minor 7 arpeggio going down. That's all an F minor 7 arpeggio idea. Root 5th, flat 7th 5th, minor 3rd, F. And it's all sort of down. I mean, you could see this as being B flat minor pentatonic with the ninth added. You could also see it as being B flat Dorian, I guess. So if we're calling it B flat minor pentatonic, you'd be going down from the flat 7th to 5th. So that's the A flat down to the F. Then the E flat down chromatically to the D flat. Back up to the F, and then down C to the B flat. So yeah, you could kind of see that as, again, B flat Dorian, B flat minor pentatonic with the ninth added. That's all chromatic movement. And yeah, let's try this down an octave again, see if we can make it even more guitaristic. So yeah, really nice phrase if we play it down the octave, making it a bit more guitar-y. Ending up in sort of shape 1 of B flat minor pentatonic. The whole thing you could use as a really nice kind of B flat minor Dorian sort of minor pentatonic lick. It's really nice. And then he follows this with the kind of ending phrase of the solo, the final 2 bars are back up to C minor. It starts on the E flat, so it goes from that B flat where we ended up a 4th to the E flat, then skips down a flat 7th to the F, then goes up to the G, then to the B flat, up chromatically to the C, then repeats the same idea on the next set of strings, so E flat chromatically up to F. Shades of Hey Joe. Where these notes are coming from, you can see it different ways. You could see it as starting out as being C minor pentatonic, because all of this comes from C minor pentatonic, shape 3. But then it moves away from C minor pentatonic to something more like F minor pentatonic. So again, we could see this whole phrase as being F minor pentatonic, just with that ninth added with that G, or maybe moving from one to the other. Because after we get this. So he goes from the A flat up to the B natural, which is the flat 5th. If we're thinking in terms of F minor pentatonic, if we're thinking in terms of C minor, which is obviously the chord that we're over, this would be the major 7th. And that A flat would be a flat 6th. So he's kind of getting a little bit outside now. But if we're thinking this in terms of the F minor pentatonic, it's again really quite a bluesy idea. Because that's just the blues scale, the flat 5 from the blues scale, F minor blues scale. Then from the C to the E flat, and then up chromatically to the F. Then up to the A flat. It's a quite bluesy, slightly outside kind of idea. Again, very guitaristic. It's very interesting. I don't know if it's a deliberate thing. But certainly, yeah, the way it fits around those sort of pentatonic shapes and fits under the fingers, it does feel quite guitar-y, but again, still with that slight sort of alien element to it. And yeah, if we try that down an octave, what you get. You'd have to move the whole thing down an octave because obviously it goes right down to this low F. So there's not too many other places you can play that sort of initial part, although, you know, after the low F and the G, then we can move it to different places. You get that sort of thing going on in shape 3, ending up in shape 4 with F minor pentatonic. And then he finishes off with kind of the most outside idea, really. He goes up to this B natural, and then he pitch wheel bends up to the D, pulls off down to the G sharp. And again, it's a staccato note, that high D. So we need to restrike that B. And these notes, you could see them a couple of ways. You could see it as being an E7 arpeggio. You could see it as being a diminished idea, B diminished. Or D, or G sharp diminished, same difference. Either way, it's pretty out. I mean, they're all minor thirds apart. So this is over the B flat minor chord. And I mean, it's really, if you think of it as E7, that's an arpeggio, a dominant 7 arpeggio, up a flat 5. So you could say it's kind of a flat 5 sort of substitution sort of thing, but I think it's more just an out kind of idea. You could also see it as like a B flat minor idea taken up a half step. You'd see it as that, but just up a half step. It's kind of a classic outside trick of just taking something inside and moving it up or down a half step. So you could very much see it like that. But either way, it's a very sort of out kind of sound, and it's quite nice in a solo that's otherwise pretty sort of inside harmonically. Just at the end, it's a really nice kind of like little tweak, like kind of, ooh, hello. Then he comes back inside, goes down to the F, and chromatically down to the E flat. And again, he's very much, although we're still on the B flat minor chord, he's still very much thinking C minor pentatonic here. Finishes with this little blues scale idea. Going from the 4th up to the flat 5th, pedaling again against this C. Then the F down to the E flat to finish off. Then goes down to the C and then ends on a D. On one and the first beat of, I guess you say the 9th bar, the bar after the official end of the solo. Just sort of hanging it over ever so slightly. So that final bar is this. And yeah, if we tried that down an octave. I mean, that's straight down an octave, same shape, just an octave down the neck. Then straight to C minor pentatonic shape 1. Reminds me a bit of a sort of Scott Henderson-esque kind of idea. It's probably coincidental, but he was playing with Chick Corea at this point, although he's not on this particular track, but he is on this album. So yeah, really nice sort of blues out kind of phrase to finish off. So let's put these final 4 bars together so they make a bit more sense. 1 and 2. Let's try some of that down an octave, see how that fits. 1 and 2. So that's the solo. Again, as I say, it's a lovely solo, very concise, really great phrasing, great choice of notes, it's melodic. It's got a bit of harmonic interest towards the end, it develops really nicely. So check it out, hope you've enjoyed this. Do join me next time when we'll be looking at the blazing guitar solo from the same tune. But I'm going to finish up by playing this at half speed along with the backing track, and then we'll play it up to tempo to finish.